Loving yourself isn't always an easy choice, but it's the right choice. Hi, welcome to another video of Mindset and Magic with the girl next door. Today, I wanted to share with you guys 10 lessons that I've learned over 2020. Hope you enjoy. We have made it to yet the end of another year, and I think some of us are so happy to be going into 2021 because 2020 was full of surprises. And yeah, some of us definitely can't wait to pass this chapter of our lives. 2020 for me though, of course it was full of surprises with the pandemic and stuff, but I just really I'm so grateful for being able to reach the end of the year. And I'm definitely looking forward to 2021. 2020 kind of shaped me though. I felt like it was my year of evolving. I've learned so many things this year, like so many hard lessons this year. And I can't wait to take them into 2021 with me. And my goals for 2021 are so different. I also can't wait to plan and definitely will bring you guys along on that journey. My goals this year are so different, and not much on the material side, but more on the spiritual and personal and intellectual side. So definitely we'll be planning with you guys for 2021. But 2020 taught me a lot of valuable lessons, and today I wanted to share 10 of those lessons with you. So my top 10 lessons that I've learned over 2020. Let's dive in. I bought my book today. I don't know. People usually ask me, like, you're a digital strategist, like, why do you like writing so much? Don't you have a laptop? Can't you use Trello? And yes, I use Trello a lot, but I love writing everything down, like every single thing. Like it helps me to keep track of my life, and I could go back and see, like, this is where I started versus this is where I am. I just like to feel a physical book in my hands. So I spent some time just writing down the 10 lessons that I have learned over the past year. So let's get started. So lesson number 1, don't take things personally. Before, don't take things personally to me was just like you go out and someone is rude towards you and you hear don't take it personally, because that person is probably fighting a battle that you don't know of. And that's what don't take it personally was to me, until I experienced it a bit more this year. And I recognize that don't take it personally also speaks to the way that someone loves you and the way someone treats you. And this not only goes for a relationship, but this goes for friendships and family members too. Because people, when we hear toxic, we usually think of a relationship. But some of the most toxic relationships are the ones with our family members, are the ones with our parents. And you really have to learn not to take certain things personally, especially the way how your parents love you and how they treat you. And while my parents are amazing people, I did took some of their actions personally. And I had to recognize that they they went through stuff. And the way that I am now, where I am all on healing and facing things, trauma, they are not like that. My parents literally, and I'm not sure if you guys will say this about yours too, they're in survival mode. They were just in survival mode, like just to survive. No one back in those days really was bothered about like healing or pain or trauma, breaking generational curses. So I had to really understand that the way where their minds are at versus where mine is at, we may not like be on the same page, but I had to learn not to take it personally. And coming through relationships, also one of the things that I've learned the hard way this year is like, don't take the way that people love me and the way that people treat me personally. Do not allow the way a guy loves me to be the blueprint, or to be, don't allow it to like determine my self-worth. Don't allow it to determine how I see myself or my value. And one of the other things not to take personally is definitely like someone's words towards you when they're in a good mood, when you are living up to their expectations. And again, this has happened. I've known people that this happened with their parents. Like, you bring home good grades, you're doing well in school, you're the best person ever. It didn't happen to me, but like, you're the best person ever. And then the day that, you don't live up to their expectations, you don't get the job, you don't marry the person they want, then all of a sudden you're a failure. And like, before you were taking the sweet words personally, and now it's like, what did I do? Like, why are you being this way towards me? I just don't understand. So one of my biggest lessons for this year, and I experienced it a bit on the side of, I made a decision that, some people just did not agree with. And I got a completely different reaction from that person than when I was, doing things in their favor. So that taught me not to take things personally. We are taught to not take bad things personally, but when it comes to good stuff as well, like, I love you, you're amazing, you make me feel so happy. Before you take the good stuff personally, just do a little bit of examining, okay? Good. The second one for me, and I need my book for this, because it's like, I don't want to confuse you guys, but the second lesson that I've learned this year, number 2, I've been listening to a podcast called The Self-Love Fix, and in one of her videos she spoke about some lessons that she has learned. Beatrice, I think that's her name. And this one, I kind of wanted to explain it, but I didn't really know how until I listened to her podcast, and I was like, yes, that is it. So basically, she said, like, standards are what I will and will not allow in my life, while expectations are saying I hold you to this standard. And you have to learn to separate your standards from your expectations. Like, it is okay to have high standards. It is okay to say, this is how I prefer to be treated. This is how I prefer to be valued. This is how I prefer to be loved. However, do not hold people into high expectations of meeting those standards, because then you will become disappointed. I received a lot of disappointments this year because I held people on a high pedestal. Like, this is what I expected of you. And I just received disappointment after disappointment after disappointment after disappointment. So I will read that line again and leave that with you guys. Standards are what I will and will not allow in my life, while expectations are saying I hold you to this standard. It is important to have standards, but do not hold people to high expectations. Ooh, child, that was a word for me. Literally was a word for me. The third expectation, number 3. If I don't willingly take care of my body will force me to take care of itself. And this one for me was more on the physical side this year, because I've experienced like so much pain this year, like physical pain, physical therapy, getting the acupuncture in my shoulders, crying, like having my neck attached to this machine to stretch it, and it was just so painful. And I kept going back to things that made me feel physically uncomfortable. And for a while, I was not listening to my body until like I had to understand, like, I can't go through this pain anymore. I literally can't. And if I don't take action and like separate myself from things that makes me feel overwhelmed or like anxious or bring physical pain to my life, then my body will continue to break down until there is no point of return. So that is one of my lessons. And like not waiting until like I'm feeling at my lowest point to schedule in time for myself. I have to intentionally make time for myself, or not, my body will teach me a lesson or talk to me in some languages that I don't want to hear. Number 4, not everyone can go on your journey with you. And I spoke about this in my previous video, and this I called it the art of letting go. I think like I want to be in a particular place. I want to be, and I spoke to my therapist about this the other day, and he mentioned something to me. I write down my notes with my therapist as well. You know, I was telling him like I'm just so tired of like the toxic behaviors and toxic people, and I feel like I'm in a space in my life where I have done so much work, I have grown, I read, I am in a different mind space totally, but I still feel like I'm attracting like a particular type of person in my life, and I don't know why. And I said I often still feel overwhelmed sometimes, and he's like, basically, Shanae, what did he say? He was like, I wrote it down. He said, you need to amend your environment to attract healthier people. And duh, right? Like everyone should know that. But honestly, I wasn't doing that. I was growing, doing the work, and still associating myself with certain people in certain places. I was doing the work and still like trying to bring others along on my journey with me. And then when I bring them into my space, it was like they were spreading their negativity into my space that I worked so hard to fix. And then it took me back to a place where I didn't want to go. So I felt like I was doing all of this work, but I still felt like I was not moving forward. And actually, that is one of my goals for 2020. If I want to meet healthier people, then I need to place myself in healthier environments, and I need to let go of the unhealthy things and people that were in my life. You know, one of the things, like, that's so easy to say, like letting go is so easy to say, but it's not. Letting go is something that has to be forced. You can't wake up this morning and say, I'm gonna just drop this person. Like, this person is toxic for me, I'm gonna delete this number. I mean, well, you can, but like when it comes to like someone that you really, really care about, it's not that easy. So it's a force. You have to like just keep focusing on what's best for you, and like just doing little things piece by piece, like not just like leaving that person alone fully or whatever. And there's something called loving people from a distance. And it is okay to love someone from a distance. And I'm learning that it is okay to have a 5-minute phone call instead of a 5-hour phone call. It is okay to chill and get a cup of coffee instead of having brunch, dinner, lunch, the sleepovers. It is okay to have like little moments with someone than like long moments, especially when you feel like this person is not in the same space as you. Lesson number 5. Ooh, this was one for me. This was definitely one for me. No answer is an answer. The lack of clarity is clarity. Preach. Like this one definitely is something big for me. This I felt in the space of a relationship, like and like just with guys from my past. It was always like wondering, like, you know, he's being so nice to me, he's being so kind to me, his actions, but then he would say things like, I'm not ready to be in a relationship, like I'm not in that space. And I was just so confused in the past, like, why are your actions and your words not aligning? I'm so confused. And sometimes I would find myself like still in a situation waiting it out, and I'm like, I'm trying to figure out, you need to tell me what you want. But sis, he was telling you what he wanted. He is telling you what he wanted, what he wants, and you weren't listening. And I had to learn that the hard way, guys. And let me tell you something, right? When something is for you, I will say again, when something is for you, it will be clear. And this not only goes for relationship, but this goes for jobs, places, people, everything else. When something is for you, it will be clear. You won't feel confused, you won't feel out of place. You will know that it is for you. Like, this whole channel that I have and this journey that I am on, it wasn't confusing. It was okay. I did not expect to be here, but I felt in my heart that it is for me. I feel like if this is something that I should be doing. And I wasn't a bit confused. I was probably confused on how to go about doing it. Like, how should I record these videos? What do I need as a background? But I was never really confused that this isn't for me. I felt it here. And when someone is for you, you will know. No clarity is clarity. And when someone does not give you an answer, that is an answer. Okay? I'm not going to get into the deep parts of, oh, this person is not in the space of loving me right now. That's fine, but you are now, and that brings me to my life lesson number 6, right? Number 6. Number 6 is that being present is so much harder than it actually sounds, but we can do it. And when I say that, like, this whole year, my goal was to like be present, live in the now, be present, live in the now, be grounded, don't think too much about the future, don't dwell on the past, be here. And being present is so much harder because being present means giving up control of all the things that you controlled your entire life. It means giving up that need to control or dictate how situations will go. And being present for me was super hard because I had this picture in my mind of how I wanted things to be, how I wanted situations to play out, and I kind of like held control of that. Like, I didn't want to be present, and I find that every time I was not present, I felt like anxious and overwhelmed. And this takes me back to number 5, like, no clarity is clarity. And I know sometimes people say that, okay, in a relationship wise, this person can't love me right now, right? And you end up waiting on that person, like, oh my, like, he's gonna love me better. I know he's doing the work. Just give him some time. Like, guys say this, like, just give me some time to get myself together. Give me some time. Give me a couple months. Sis, you are to be present and living in the now. And I'm not saying that maybe in the next 6 months or 7 months he will not get it together, but I'm saying you need to live in the now. You need to be present. Is this person willing to be with you now? No. Is this person good enough for you now? No. Is this person in a space to love you the way you want to be loved and you deserve to be treated now? No. Then you need to make a decision based on the now. Not 6 months from now, not 7 months from now, but now. So those 2 lessons, number 5 and number 6, goes together. No clarity is clarity. And living in the now, being present, is much harder than it appears to be, but it has to be done. Okay? Good. Number 7. Number 7 is to trust your gut instinct. Ooh. Trust your gut instinct. Trust your intuitive. And I did not do that this year. And I ended up in a shower crying my eyes out because I did not trust what was going on inside. And guys, I know sometimes you may hear someone may tell you you're overreacting, or that's not true, or like maybe you're thinking about it too much. But if your gut tells you something, go with your gut. Go with your gut. And I find like our gut probably comes from a place of like logic But then we go ahead and make decisions based on emotions, ignoring our gut feeling, ignoring that logic. So for 2021, I want to make better decisions, and I want my decisions to not come from a place of emotion, but to be backed up with logic. And there was something else I said, I can't remember, logic and rationale. If something feels off, it is off. Like sometimes, yeah, we be overreacting because we have like trust issues now, but I've learned my lesson when it came to not listening to my gut. So I rather listen to my gut and be wrong than to not listen to it at all. And that is just me. Number 8. If God opens a door for me, I need to explore it rather than question it. If God opens a door for me, explore it rather than question it. And this one, I'm not saying if someone comes and put like millions of dollars in front of you to don't ask questions, just spend it. This is more on being in places where you thought you would never fit, or experiencing things that you thought were not good for you. Well, that you were not good for, things that you were not ready for. And I felt that this year. Like, I'm gonna give you guys my own personal story. I was just literally going through, I was ready for a job change, and I was like looking around for jobs. No pandemic, everything was crystal clear. And I was just looking for a job. And then I went to these interviews, interview after interview after interview after interview, and nothing worked out, right? And in the middle of a pandemic, up came a job that I felt like I was not ready for, because I was moving from one position to the next. And I was like, ooh, this is a lot. Plus the person that was there before me, I was kind of scared. Like, can I really like fill these shoes? Can I live up to this person's work, their standard? And up in the middle of a pandemic came this job, and I was so scared. I questioned it so much. What does this mean? What is going on? And then I had to reach a place where I'm like, Shanae, you know what? This door was open for you. God opened this door for you. You spoke to God about this for so many times, on so many occasions, and now it's here. You're questioning it. Why are you questioning it? Explore it. Take the opportunity. Have him as your business partner and continue to push on. But let's not do this, So that is definitely something that I have learned. When God opens a door for me, explore it rather than questioning it. And then I know that the best outcome would probably happen. Number 9, be careful what you pray for, because you just might get it. Yeah. This I have seen, and I have experienced. Like, be careful what you pray for, because, and not only be careful, but ensure that your heart and your mind is mentally prepaid. What am I saying? Ensure that your heart and your mind is mentally prepared to take on whatever you prayed for. I wanted a job to pay me more money, to allow me to do certain things, to allow me to accomplish certain goals and stuff I had. I wanted more money. That was my driving force. And then I'm here. And the last couple of months, the last 3 months before my probation pass was like the hardest months for me, because I felt overwhelmed. I felt so tired. I felt drawn out. I literally wasn't in a good place. And I was like, I cried, and I was like, why did I ask for this? Like, is this really what I want? I was questioning that. And then I recognized, you know what? Be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. And when you get it, if your mind and your heart is not prepared, if it's not in a good place, then you will feel overwhelmed. And an update on that is that I'm definitely doing better, definitely learning to prioritize and work better. And I've literally like prepared my mind and my heart for this. Like, this is what I want, and I'm in a good space. And we often do that with relationships, you know, like we hear, Lord, send me a good man. Send me a man that is, you know, loving and sweet and kind and respectful. And then when God sends him to you, you are not ready for him because you did not do the work. You did not prepare your heart and your mind. And that is why, like, I had a conversation with my friend yesterday, and he was like, I was like, I'm healing first. And then when I think that I've healed, then I will explore a relationship. And he was like, by the time you're ready, it's going to be like 2027. I was like, don't say that. But no, seriously, you know, I want my man to come bearded, safe, saved, and ready for me. Bearded, saved, and ready. Like that, I always say that. And but if I want that, if I want all of these qualities in a man, then I need to heal from what I've been through. I need to prepare my heart and my mind to mentally, like, to deal with him and to see all that he is. And so before I pray for that, while praying for that, while praying and asking God to send me someone that is sweet and kind and loving and respectful, I also ask God to prepare my heart and to help me to be a better person to receive this blessing. Help me to be the person that can take this blessing and handle it with my best ability. And the last one, number 10, self-love isn't always an easy choice, but it is the right choice. You know, it's easy. You know, we often hear, love yourself, put yourself first, do all of these things. But I was definitely not doing that. Like, I remember a time back in one of my relationships, I said, like, I was like, how could you do this to me? Like, how could you say that you love me and still, you know, consistently, like, continuously do this to me? And then I sat the other night, well, not the other night, I sat like a couple nights after, and I said to myself, how could you love yourself? How could you love yourself and constantly put yourself in a place that makes you feel low? How could you love yourself? And you were here, like, focusing so much on how could this person love you, but really and truly, how can you love yourself? And I think, like, that was one of my moments where, you know, you have these moments of realization. That was one of them. Like, instead of focusing so much on what this person is doing and how this person is treating you, how about you pour back into yourself? How about you love yourself the way that you want to be loved? And I then started going about, like, exploring my love languages and, like, doing things that I like, and really deep loving myself. I asked you guys to list like 10 things that you love the most. Like, you probably would never even mention myself. You would probably, or myself would probably come like at the end of that list. And it's not easy to remember yourself and to choose yourself, but it's necessary. You have to pencil it in. Regardless, like, if it's, you have to set it like an appointment. Spend some time reading, spend some time learning more about myself, spend some time exploring my needs, spend some time doing things that I love for me. And this was not an easy thing for me this year, but I recognize more and more through like physical pain, emotional pain, mental pain, even with the pandemic, that I need to really like love myself and take care of myself, wear my mask, sanitize, take care of myself. And that really like taught me something over the past year. Those were my 10 lessons for this year. I am so happy that I'm going into 2021 with you. I'm excited for what this year will bring. And definitely tune in, subscribe to my channel. And the reason I want you to subscribe is so that we can do some 2021 planning together. Grab your Bristol board, or like for me, I'm not going to do the whole picture thing this year. It's like really writing because I'm so intentional about the things that I want. So your pretty pens, your markers, your book, paper, and meet me back here on the 1st of January to do some 2021 planning. Bye. Have a great All Year's night. Be safe. Love you guys. Mwah.